All right, friends, it's T, and I'm going to do a reaction video because our good friend JasonBlaha has posted a beautiful video for us to react to today. So, I'm going to react to the gym, lifting, recruiting, fitness, gear slave himself, JasonBlaha. Blaha says, lots of training methods build champions. What do the injury rates look like? Training methods? There's only one training method for building muscle, or one training method for building... Actually, for building muscle, there's only one method. That's it.
Hey everybody, it's JasonBlaha here. Today I want to chat with you guys and gals a little bit about an idea that we really need to look at when it comes to different training approaches.
Yeah, there isn't a million training methods to build muscle. There's only one. Eccentric exercise. That's it. That's it. Overload. That's it.
And we have to have these conversations because if we're going to...
Now, for building strength, you're talking about like lifting strength. I'm not talking about getting stronger, you physically getting bigger and stronger. I'm talking about lifting strength. Okay. Yeah, they're both equally just as good, concentric or eccentric. But apparently eccentric is a lot better for building strength than concentric. It builds it a lot faster because you could take on more loads, heavier loads. That's why.
Talk about longevity under the barbell. We're trying to talk about the long game. I mean, for example, you guys see my gray beard here. I'm 48 years old. That's a 5.
Yes, I see your gray beard there. 85 years old. Yes. What about it?
85 pull, pretty clean. You'll see me doing a 505 box squat on a 12-inch box coming up.
You know, it's funny. He's in his 40s. He has a gray beard. In fact, I didn't even get gray hair until I reached my 50s.
Decently strong still. My injuries are...
Actually, I think the gray part is starting to go away now. Ever since I started going back to the gym recently, like doing like heavy overload, eccentric overloads, the hair is like, it's changing. I don't know. I think it's going away, the gray hair. It's kind of weird. Maybe it does clean up fucking DNA damage. Who the hell knows?
Really low, even though now I've kind of pushed over more towards bodybuilding training and I'm making physique a primary.
What? He's moved towards bodybuilding training? Getting physique? He's not bodybuilding. I haven't seen him bodybuild yet. I've seen him doing some powerlifting still, but I have yet to see him do any bodybuilding.
I personally still do some heavy lifting.
No, yeah, he does heavy lifting concentrically, but he doesn't do bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is eccentric exercise, is based on eccentric exercises. And I told you, people that go to the gym, they're not bodybuilding. They're not bodybuilders or bodybuilding. They don't do eccentric exercise. They all do concentric. That's all they do. They're just exercising. There's a difference between exercising and trying to build your body. But if you think that exercise builds bodies, then you have to be deranged in your brain. Get it? You have to be mentally sick to think that exercise somehow builds bodies. That doesn't build a body. You have to do something very specific to build a body. That's why they call it bodybuilding. Eccentric exercise is what builds bodies. It can also increase your strength exponentially for sure. But it's 2 in 1. It actually makes you strong at lifting, and it also builds your body big and strong. Now, does concentric build your body big and strong? No, that's why people have handicaps there. They're all disabled, get it? They're disabled. That's why they're always chasing creatine, steroids, SARMs, this, that. They're all complaining, bulk diets, they have to do this, or drink a gallon of milk a day to gain the weight. Hey, this is stupid. Do you understand me? Eccentric exercises, you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to bulk in eccentric exercise. You don't have to drink gallons of water, take steroids, SARMs, creatine. You don't have to do fuck all, any of that shit, get it? The only thing you have to do is eat. Protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown in eccentric overload because there's a relative amount of damage and apoptosis in the first initiating stages of activating the growth factors when you damage the muscle fiber. Yeah, this is not complicated to understand what's going on there, but people are just, I don't know, they're fucking brain dead out there. What do you expect in the fitness industry? Has people, they all have them conditioned thinking that I got to get a stronger to get a bigger, but nobody's ever gotten a bigger getting a stronger unless they got fatter.
But it's the same with our bodybuilding type training, right? As I continue to start working on my physique.
Yeah, what's your bodybuilding training? Bodybuilding training is not about getting low body fat, a physique, looking cool, having low body fat. Bodybuilding is about building your body. If you want low body fat, that has nothing to do with bodybuilding, bro. Get it? This guy's stupid.
To start looking better, to get more aesthetic, to get more jacked.
Yeah, listen to what you just said. Looking better to getting more aesthetic. Does aesthetic sound like bodybuilding to you? I want to get more aesthetic. So if you want to get more aesthetic, how do you get more aesthetic? Well, you don't bodybuild to get more aesthetic. Duh. Most people, they lower their calories or whatever the fuck they're doing there. They go on pure protein diet and they do a lot of cardio to burn body fat. Is that bodybuilding? I'm burning body fat. I'm doing a lot of cardio and everything. Does that sound like bodybuilding to you? The word aesthetic doesn't even sound like bodybuilding. This is stupid.
Leaner, not just strong. Something that started to matter to me more and more.
Yeah, get leaner, not just strong. Strong what? You're not strong. You're small.
Or as I've gotten older, it's just funny. I get it. A lot of guys.
You know what the funny part is? He is getting older. He looks so old at 85 right now. He looks 85 at 47. It's crazy. Because this isn't bodybuilding. Bodybuilding's very specific, like I said, bro. It's about eccentric exercise. And it fucking builds you, man. It makes you younger. It makes you better. That's the whole point. It makes you a better version of what you are. It can reverse a lot of stuff. DNA damage, a whole bunch of things.
The opposite. But it's funny. I get it. A lot of guys see the opposite. But when we look at these topics, we have to look at not only does something work, but what sort of injury rates did it incur? Okay? And we could look at...
What sort of injury rates did it occur? You're getting injured because you're weak. You have a weak body.
That from a powerlifting perspective, we could look at that from a bodybuilding perspective. We could step back and say, okay, so all these different pro bodybuilders use a wide variety of approaches. Because there's no such thing as bodybuilding training. Really, there's no such thing as powerlifting training.
There's no such thing as bodybuilding training? There's no such thing as powerlifting training? Okay. Yes, Blaha.
Either. Ultimately, there are some extremely divergent methods. And in fact, there's probably more overlap between bodybuilding and powerlifting training than there is.
Overlap? Well, powerlifting has been taken from bodybuilding. What are you talking about? They took it from bodybuilding. Whatever.
Even overlap inside of powerlifting and bodybuilding as their individual disciplines. Okay, right?
They are their individual disciplines. Bodybuilding is not a sport, you fool. You understand me? It's impossible for bodybuilding to be a sport because it compromises sportive performance doing eccentric exercises. Bro, get it? This guy's crazy.
Because how many serious pro bodybuilders, how many Mr. Olympia winners did heavy singles on the big three? Lots of them. How many
Olympia? What? These people are fake.
World level powerlifters do tons of 10 to 12.
Powerlifters are fake too. If they're so strong, why do they have to take steroids and powerlift? Because they're weak.
Rep sets, even up in the
Look, I'll explain this. When you build muscle, you get stronger. Look, this is how bodybuilding works. So you go into a gym, you focus on eccentric overload. Let's just say we just focus on eccentric overload, overloading it. Eccentrics can mean anything. You're just doing eccentric exercises, but I'm just going to focus on eccentric and overloading it, the eccentric, the lift. All right. So you go into the gym and you lift as heavy as you can eccentrically for reps and sets, okay? You just choose a weight that is really, really, really heavy for getting mostly, your repetitions are mostly what? Eccentric, your rep. Of course, the initiating rep is going to be concentric, right? But here's the thing. It's so heavy that you could never complete a full concentric rep. That's what's considered eccentric overload. All right. So you're pushing and you're pulling these weights is heavy as you could go for reps and whatever, sets and reps, okay? And so every time you come back the following week, you increase the weight exponentially. We call that progressive overload. We increase the weight now and we go heavier on the eccentrics. Yeah, because we're bigger and we're stronger. So our body and our strength and moving weights are moving together in real time. Get it? We're actually building muscle and getting stronger at lifting at the same time. But in concentric lifting, you don't get that. You just strengthen the nervous system. You're getting better at pushing weights away from your body. You understand me? So that isn't building your body. That isn't bodybuilding. And again, eccentric exercise, you can use heavier and heavier loads. So you not only will get stronger at the concentric doing eccentric overload exercises, not only will you get stronger at concentric, but you'll be super strong at eccentric and you'll never get injured. Like these weak people, these weak lifters, they get injured.
Work or more, 20 rep sets.
That's the whole point. Eccentric exercise, when it builds muscle, it's to protect you from getting what? Injured in the what? In the eccentric lift. Because it's dangerous. You get injured there. You never get injured lifting concentrically. Where do people get injured? Eccentrically. If you have a weak body, weak muscles, a weak body and weak muscles, of course you're going to get injured. So if you're getting injured, that means you're weak.
Extremely common. Extremely common. But when we start talking about injuries, what's some stuff that we have to look at?
He says it's extremely common. Yeah, in this, because they're weak. If it's common, that means they're weak.
Well, let's take bodybuilding. So you take someone like Dorian Yates. Were his methods effective? Obviously. I mean, Dorian.
What about Dorian Yates? Let's take Dorian Yates. Was his methods effective? No, they were not. That's why he took steroids. If his methods, so-called concentric lifting methods, were any good, why did he have to take steroids? Because they were no good. They didn't work. Get it? So he faked it like everybody else. They take steroids and they fake the look. They fake it.
And Yates won numerous Mr. Olympias.
So he won by faking it. He won by faking it. Lots of people fake sophistication. They fake being smart or fake being rich online. They show you, they rent a bunch of cars, they put it in the background and tell you, buy my program, you'll get rich. There's all kinds of phony people out there. Or they got rich through real estate or something, or they invested money or whatever. They fake it. You know, ever heard the old saying, fake it to make it? Hello? But Blaha's so dumb.
He was monstrously big. He was monstrously...
Listen, yeah, he was monstrously, fakely big. And Blaha is faking it to make it too, because he's on steroids. And he said he's on test and primoballing to bodybuilding to create this weird physique, this garbage physique.
Ripped and dense and striated and grainy while winning the Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, while winning the Mr. Olympia. And then when he was off the drugs, guess what happened? All that went away because it was fake.
Yeah. Okay, so you can't say he didn't get results in terms of bodybuilding. I mean, or his era, he was number.
Yeah, sure.
One. Now, obviously, there were specific drugs involved. There was a lot of discussion of, how he used certain drugs in much larger amounts than other people had been willing to or started experimenting with.
Yeah, okay. So what? Yeah, he used drugs, exactly. Because his training methods didn't work. So he took steroids. You could do anything and you would have get that physique just lifting. See what I mean? You'd do anything and you'd get a physique like that, lifting. Ted's stupid.
Things that other people weren't really experimenting with yet. True. But the training methods clearly worked. Because at the end of the day...
The training methods, he could have used any training method and he would have got that look. Man, I knew so many people back in the day on steroids going to the old gym. And they said, man, I could do anything and get that look. They go. The look it's just like that. They did shitty lifting. They didn't care.
Hey, I think we all have to admit, all these guys are on drugs. All of them are on lots of drugs.
No, you have to admit they're on drugs. Of course they're on drugs. They're in that business.
Drugs. So that's not really the true wild card, is it? So we have to start looking at how does their training differ. Well, his training obviously worked, but how bad did he get hurt? He got hurt a lot. He got hurt a lot.
He got hurt a lot because he was weak. His body, his weak muscles. He tore a lot of muscles because he was weak.
Guy had 7 or 8 major muscle tears during his.
I wouldn't say that he might not have gotten some muscle. He might have done some eccentric lifting. He got some, maybe a little bit, but not a lot. Most of his muscles were filled up with sarcoplasm, which is disgusting, man. That can also weaken your muscles too. Too much sarcoplasm, no muscle. It's gross.
Professional career. So we could look at some of that and say, okay, it works, but is it worth it on the payoff end? Make a debate about that. Okay. Whereas you could take someone like, say, Jay Cutler, another Mr. Olympia.
Why is he bringing up these fake bodybuilders? That doesn't make any sense, but okay, whatever.
Minimal injuries, right? Minimal injuries.
Yeah.
And I think he only had, to my knowledge, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, he only had an injury in his final year. I think his final year trying to win the Mr. Olympia again. And it wasn't even specifically on the lift. Like he tore a bicep trying to get some dumbbells into position or something for a chest exercise. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, people. I could be wrong on that.
Well, here's the question. If you're really depleted and everything, right, and you're trying to get super lean and everything, right, before a competition, why would you be lifting super heavy weight? That's just stupid. Of course you're looking for an injury. Duh. Got a weak body.
That, so you have to look at that and go, but he won some Mr. Olympias. He didn't get hurt as bad. Did Lee Haney get hurt? No. Well, Lee Haney won quite a few Mr. Olympias.
What if we told you that the hottest casino...
Mr. Olympias.
Lee Haney won a few. Yeah, he won quite a few, yes.
So this is the things that we have to look at in terms of their methods. You have to look at this in terms of their...
What about their methods? Their methods was they took steroids. But man, is something wrong with Blaha? Christ. Their methods failed. They didn't work. That's why people take drugs, steroids, creatine, whatever, because it doesn't work. That's why they bulk diet, creatine, gallons of milk, try to fill your body up. Stupid things.
Methods. Did they get hurt?
They never bodybuild because concentric exercise is not bodybuilding. It doesn't build bodies.
And so, what's going on with their injuries? Well, with Dorian, for example, all those heavy sets beyond failure. All that rest pause work,
it's all that rest pause work beyond failure and everything. No, it's not the drugs, right? See, it's the rest pause failure and all that. Even though they tried that without drugs and it didn't work, right? It didn't work. So why did they take the drugs? Because it didn't work. You understand me? The fake lifting didn't work to build bodies. The real lifting is too much work for them. Real lifting is too taxing and too much work for people to do eccentric overload training to build bodies. You understand? To build a real body is too much work. It's too much for them. They don't like that. They need instant because they're busy. They're going on stage. You're going to do a bunch of stuff. They don't have time.
Force reps, okay? Probably a factor. That level of intensity will destroy your body. Not saying it didn't obviously build some muscle.
That level of intensity destroyed them? Yeah, it will destroy you because you got a weak body taking hormonals, and the hormones push you to lift a heavy weight on a weak, small, little body.
I mean, clearly built some muscle.
They did? They clearly built some muscle? Well, if everybody could build muscle, if steroids could build a muscle, then everybody would be taking steroids and building muscle and then not taking steroids anymore, right? See how stupid Blaha is?
Looking at his track record there and the other guys in the lineup, it definitely worked. But at what price? So same thing when we get over to powerlifting.
It didn't work.
And then Louis Simmons said this for years. It's like people get hurt. Like way more people get hurt doing powerlifting than really should happen.
Yeah, I want to know why they get hurt at powerlifting, because concentric exercise does not build your body big and strong. You're weak. You're lifting a heavy weight, taking hormones on a weak body. Duh.
And yet his people lifted tremendously heavy. Okay, because it's not the heavy lifting.
Why do you think concentric exercise, when you're lifting, bodybuilding is about eccentric exercise overload? Why? Because it builds your body big and strong, and your lift goes up at the same time. Get it? Your body adapts by growing bigger and stronger in the eccentric form, and then you progressively overload, and then it adapts again by getting bigger and stronger to that weight, whatever it is you're lifting. Get it? So you never get injured or anything, and you actually build real muscle. Yeah, Blaha, real muscle, Blaha, something you don't know anything about. And then what you're doing there, this is not bodybuilding.
He always said the linear periodization is what hurts people, and it does.
Linear periodization because you took steroids on a weak body.
Have you not noticed Matt Winning say the same? Louis Simmons said the same.
Louis Simmons, Matt Wing, whatever their name is, they're all fake too. They're stupid. They're dumb and they're fake.
Louis Simmons' people generally had relatively low injuries. Not saying it didn't occasionally happen. But compared to, say, the serious linear periodization with the high specificity.
Because they're weak. They don't know what they're doing.
And yet they lifted heavy. They did maxes every week. Even guys on that sort of training don't lift heavy every week or even every month of the year. But Louis' people did, so it's not, well, lifting heavy is the issue. No, they maxed out every week. Every week on at least 2 exercises, year-round, 52 weeks a year.
Yeah, okay.
Still lower injuries than the linear periodization. Why? Overuse. Ultra-high specificity. I mean, same thing. Johnny Candido beat up.
Yeah, steroids, that's why. They're weak.
Powerlift anymore. So that's kind of the point. When you look at training styles, these training styles are where you do minimal amounts of maxes, rotate enough movements, and you focus on bodybuilding type work is largely what Westside did. 70% of their training was, as he called it, bodybuilding training. They lifted super heavy, but it was very, very...
Bodybuilding training? That's not bodybuilding training, bro. They didn't do any bodybuilding training. You're lying.
Small amount, and they rotated stuff around. The injuries were fairly low. In spite of guys, throwing around 700 and 800 pounds on a weekly basis.
Whoa, they were throwing around 700, 800 pounds on a daily basis. Okay, that's not bodybuilding. Throwing around 700, 800 pounds is not bodybuilding.
2 weeks a year. And you got guys like Candido, and people can say, well, the drugs, Candido was drug tested unless he was on gear.
Candido is a little shit, doesn't know anything. He doesn't do bodybuilding.
Still got pretty beat up and injured. Out of the powerlifting game before age 40. Okay. High specificity, focus on the big lifts.
Yeah, high specificity, yes.
Instead of, hey, can I just build a bunch of muscle? Can I build tendons? Can I build support structure? And only do the minimal amount of really heavy lifting needed to be great. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
And that's what we're talking about. We have to be aware of that. We have to think in those terms. So it's not just about what works, because obviously linear periodization worked. It produced plenty of elite lifters. It also broke dozens, if not hundreds of them on the wheel. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk.
Ooh, yeah, very informative, man, Coach. I'll see you in the next video, friends. Tell what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. Blaha, look, Blaha, this is not bodybuilding, Blaha. You need to reflect, man. See you in the next one.